got my tissue ready. Because this is the last you'll hear from me. This was my last season with Robinson Crew as a full-time coach. So I'm going to grad school. And I wanted to take a second to thank you all, rowers, parents, and fellow coaches, and explain the impact this team has had on me. This isn't going to be too short. I have been involved with this team since November 2004 when I was a freshman. Up until that point, I had not been an athlete. I did swim team, but usually finished last. I played soccer, but generally avoided contact with the ball. With Crew, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I soon found that it was the best decision I'd ever made. That year, I was a part of an incredibly passionate freshman class. We ran the paved trail to the grandstands every day before practice, which was incredibly hard, but made a huge impact on our fitness. That year in the freshman 8, we captured third at states and were the first novice crew from Robinson to qualify for nationals. I became addicted to the pain, the teamwork, the beauty of the Occoquan, the rhythm of 9 rowers pushing themselves to their limits and past them. Once we became varsity team members, thanks to the preparation we got from our novice coach, most of us immediately became first 8 rowers. Coaches Rob and Katie saw the potential in us and would not let us quit. They held us to high standards and pushed us past our limits every day. They taught us how to trust and depend on each other and work as a unit to accomplish our goals. The top 18 girls formed an awesome bond while grinding through the training, in this hallway and out on the water. Our friendships formed mostly from complaints about our exhaustion from the weird, crazy, intense workouts our coaches thought up, but we're all still friends to this day. Up until 2007, Robinson had never won a state title in the varsity 8s, and on the women's side, TJ and TC Williams were the only 2 teams whose names are on the trophy. A few weeks before states, the Washington Post published an article about us with the title, "Robinson Gives TJ a Scare," after a race where we finished second to TJ by only a few seats. That article gave us fuel. A few weeks later was states. I will not forget that race. I will never forget the passionate words of our coxswain Grace. I will not forget the adrenaline rush of pushing past TC to win states in 2007. It was the most incredible moment, the best moment of my life at that point. Robinson's Varsity 8 can finally call itself number 1, was the Washington Post article title. All the blood, sweat, and so many tears had paid off. In 2008, we got second at states to TC. I'm still pretty bitter about it. But because of this team, because of my coaches and the parents, I was able to go to Stotesbury Regatta twice and nationals all 4 years. Opportunities that made me realize the scope of this sport and allowed me to fall in love with it more. In 2010, with Coach Barrett as her coach, my sister in the Robinson Varsity 8 captured the state title again in an awesome race that came down to inches, a margin of 0.02 seconds. Robinson Crew gave me work ethic, time management, leadership, lasting friends, coaches who were mentors, and an intense love-hate relationship with pushing my body past its limits on every workout. This team gave me these tools which enabled me to be recruited by colleges, get a scholarship, and pursue my love of rowing beyond high school. I was thrilled to be rowing in college. I was the only freshman out of my recruiting class of 11 to be pulled up to the varsity team at George Mason. So I came into coaching at Robinson under unfortunate circumstances. As an eager and motivated freshman rower at George Mason, I was a passenger in a car that lost control, and I was ejected from the vehicle. I could not finish my classes or continue rowing, and it was unknown whether I'd ever be able to get back to doing these things. The thought that I had lost rowing forever was unbearable. I felt like I'd lost everything. A major part of me had been ripped away. Many people came to visit me in the hospital, but the ones that meant the most to me were my high school coaches and teammates. I was moved by their presence and support because they were the reason I loved rowing so much. They made it possible. They had designed these bracelets, which I was supposed to bring up, which I forgot. They're like the Livestrong bracelets, except they're blue and gold, and they say LG Teammates for Life. My coaches made those for the whole team. I think everybody still has them. I don't know. A few months after my accident, my Robinson coaches asked me to come back and be a volunteer coach on the water. I was in a back brace at the time, and my doctor did not want me to be walking around much, but I could not refuse. I needed to be around rowing. At first it was extremely difficult to be back here. Though I was thankful to receive the opportunity to be back with this team, I did not want to be back in high school. That's what it felt like. I wanted to be rowing with my new team at George Mason. But I quickly found that being a leader to young men and women who are just as excited and curious about this sport as I was when I started was inspiring and was part of my healing process. My experience coaching here has been awesome. I've met hundreds of student athletes with so much passion and drive who inspire me every day. My first year as a full-time coach, I worked with most of these seniors when they were freshmen. They formed an awesome freshman 8 that also got third at states and were invited to compete at nationals. To the senior girls, all of whom I've had the pleasure of working with at some point or another, thank you for being my guinea pigs. Thank you for everything you've given to this team. All of you have been extraordinary leaders and role models. Your persistent excellence has set the bar high. You've shown the underclassmen what it means to work hard and be successful. Whether or not you continue to row in college, I hope that you take the lessons you have learned as a part of Robinson Crew with you. Go into the next chapter knowing that anything worthwhile comes from hard work. Remember that life's not about just winning or losing, it's about the journey. It's about expanding yourself as a person, being proud of the work you put in, and the relationships you form along the way. I want to thank the rowers, the parents, my fellow coaches, and past coaches for giving me this amazing experience. Thank you for giving your time and energy to making this team what it is, a team whose values these athletes will take with them through their lives. Thank you.
Go ahead.